this is a zigzag attachment made by Singer. This is part number 121706, and it was designed to be used on straight stitch machines from before the days when zigzag was added as a feature on sewing machines. If we open the box, you can see what's inside. We've got the instructions and we've got the actual zigzag attachment, and it looks very similar to modern day walking feet in that it's got this little arm here and a special kind of foot with, they're like little grooves. And as you'll notice as we go through the video testing it, those play a very important part in how this zigzag attachment actually works. The one thing that the instructions don't make specifically clear, I mean, although it says on the box this was designed for Singer lock stitch family sewing machines, it doesn't say what model numbers it's talking about. So in today's video I'm going to be putting this foot through the paces on a couple of different machines to see which Singer machines this foot is going to fit on. I'm Molly, this is Simply Stitchy. Come on, let's find out. This little beauty is the Singer 185K. It's a member of the Singer 6699201 family. Let's see if this foot, this zigzag attachment, will work on this particular machine. Fits in the same way as a walking foot in that this little arm needs to go on the needle clamp and this needs to sit on the presser foot bar. Now you'll notice that there's two little holes in the attachment. The top hole is for the 101 class of machines and the bottom hole is for everything else. So because this machine is technically in everything else, I'm going to go for the bottom hole. As with the walking foot that I tested in a previous video, you want to make sure that the pressure on the presser foot is light for this, and you'll see why in a minute. You also want to make sure that the tension both on the upper thread and on the bobbin thread is light as well, just to give as much flexibility as possible. The good thing about the zigzag attachment is that Singer realised that you don't just want to do zigzag stitch, sometimes you need to do a straight stitch as well, and you don't have to take this attachment off to do that. All you have to do is push this little lever across like so, so that it fits into there, and then what you've got is a regular straight stitch. The thing with the zigzag attachment is it doesn't make a straight stitch machine do a zigzag as such. As the foot works, what it does is it moves the fabric from side to side. So you've got the feed dogs pulling it through from front to back, and this zigzag attachment jiggling it from one side to the other, if you like. And because of that, you'll notice that the fabric crunches as you go. See how it pulls the fabric, so you get this slight ridging effect. Now you can adjust that by obviously this knob at the back of the foot and your stitch length here. This one will alter the width of your actual zigzag, while obviously this one will make it either tighter or further apart. And there you go, we've got a pretty reasonable zigzag stitch. It's got quite a fine close together zigzag stitch there, and it even does quite a nice straight stitch. The one thing that you do need to watch with the zigzag attachment on sewing machines is don't get too close to the edge of the fabric. You need to allow enough room for the foot to move the fabric from side to side to be able to produce that zigzag stitch. In order to get the zigzag foot to work perfectly and give you a quality stitch, you are going to need to play with the tension setting to smooth out some of this puckering on the back. The point of this video though was to show that the foot will work with the machine. This is Grandma. She's a Singer 27 Treadle from 1912. She's also a low shank sewing machine. Let's see if this zigzag attachment is going to be compatible with Grandma. In order to fit the zigzag attachment to the sewing machine, what you need to do is bring it in from behind the presser foot bar. Make sure this straddles that needle clamp that's going through. That's the bit that holds the needle on, and this bit then sits on the presser foot bar in the same way that a modern walking foot would fit today. Now, as previously mentioned, there are two holes in this mount, a top hole and a bottom hole. The top hole is for the class 101 machines and the bottom hole is for everything else. Now, Grandma's a 27, so that's an everything else, so I'm going to be using the bottom hole. Now, the one thing that I notice straight away is that is actually up, and there's not a lot of space between the feed dogs and the actual presser foot. Now, although I have this zigzag attachment, I don't tend to use it very often. I'm not that fond of it as a presser foot. It's not exactly a plug and play foot. I use that expression quite a bit, and what I mean by that is you can't just stick it on any sewing machine and expect it to work just like that. You do have to fiddle with the settings on the foot and on the sewing machine. One of the things that the instruction booklet is keen to point out is that your tension on your bobbin and on the machine needs to be fairly light, and so does the pressure that the machine pushes down on the presser bar with. And you do have to keep fiddling about with that until you get the right combination for your particular machine. But let's see if this Singer 27 from 1912 is going to work with this zigzag attachment. I think that was down to the tension being just a little bit too tight, so let's see if we can take that off a little bit. Okay, let's try that with a bit less pressure on the presser foot and a little less tension all around. By reducing the pressure on the presser foot bar just that little bit, I have managed to get a decent zigzag stitch. That was the first attempt with the pressure not adjusted, and it doesn't look too bad on the back. It's a little bit tight, so maybe the tension could do with further adjustment on both top and bottom. But other than that, the zigzag attachment number 121706 seems to work okay with Grandma. This is a Singer 15. This one's actually a 15K80. But it's fairly similar to the 1591, only this one's a hand crank. I'm going to fit it in exactly the same way as I did with Grandma, in that this goes around the needle clamp and this bit goes on the presser bar. Again, this isn't a class 101 machine, so I'm going to be using the bottom hole. I'm going to loosen the pressure off on the press bar just a bit. I don't think there's quite enough pressure on the pressure foot now. It took me a little bit longer to get the zigzag attachment to work with the Singer 15K80. It had a little bit of a flip out here, so again I've adjusted the pressure on the presser bar and the tension top and bottom, and it was starting to get into the groove just here. Take a look at the back. It's not looking too bad at all. So the zigzag attachment does work with the Singer 15K80. The one thing that I did notice as I was using it is if we lower the presser foot for a moment, this lever actually sits on top of the attachment, which does get in the way slightly as you try to work the machine. See how it just keeps catching on the top of the foot. You might find because of that, depending on the presser foot lever on your machine, you might want to go for a zigzag attachment that has a slightly different style to this one. There are other styles on the market. You can also get automatic zigzag attachments, which might fit a little bit better.